compared to the first decade of the band, starting from 1977, the first two albums of the second decade introduced a specific certain change in the harmonic color of the band. Beyond, of course, the profound influence of Brazilian music on the Pat Metheny group, I'm specifically talking about using the harmony of the minor fifth in the music. So instead of the G7 to CM that we know from classical music, if you end your pentatonic minor melody this way, or so the natural thing to do is to harmonize it with G minor instead of a G7. Or in the album Still Life Talking, one obvious reason for using the minor fifth was tunes that were made of the minor pentatonic scale. So even though Have You Heard is not dominated by the minor pentatonic scale, we can still hear the cadence of G minor to C. Have You Heard, composed in 1988, is a much more sophisticated melody. It is not dominated by the minor pentatonic scale. What it is a very active melody in the sense that you don't need necessarily to hear the chords to figure out the harmony. So we have these arpeggios. Here. If I have a general observation about the difference between Still Life Talking and Letter from Home, I would say that in Still Life Talking, we are hearing a more pentatonic-based sets of melodies coming from Pat Metheny, and where the rest of the material is coming from the hands of Lyle. I mean, the interludes and the intros. In Letter from Home, I think we're seeing a more diverse Pat Metheny as a melodic composer, with melodies less depending on the pentatonic major or minor scale, more diverse in general. In the second part of Have You Heard, we hear a sudden shift, a sudden change when everything comes to a pause on the B-flat dominant harmony. Now, this B-flat dominant harmony is expressed through a series of beautiful chords. Before it moves to the harmony of C minor for the beginning of the guitar solo. And here you can see the difference between harmony and chords. We have one harmony, which is expressed through a series of chords. As you may know, the central idea of playing classical music is the quality of interpretation, how well the interpreter understands the music. And in this sense, this part, interpretation, is done on such a high level. Pat Metheny laid-back playing sounds like as though he is holding his breath before everything opens up again on the guitar solo that comes right after. As you may know, the first part of Have You Heard is written in 7/4 meter. Now, a very interesting point about it is what Pat Metheny is saying in his songbook. When I went to write it out, the meter was a surprise. I was sure it was in 4/4 meter. Now, if we go a few years back to the album First Circle, we remember that First Circle itself was created according to a rhythmic template that Pat Metheny came up with, the 22/8 measure. From reading what Pat Metheny writes in the songbook, I know that 5/5/7 and 48/5, both tunes from the album A Letter from Home, were also composed according to a rhythmic template. But this is not the case of Have You Heard. The fact that Pat Metheny is saying that he didn't realize it was in 7/4 meter tells us that composing it and playing it before writing it down felt natural to him, as if they were in 4/4 meter. Tengo un mensaje en español para todos mis seguidores latinos y españoles por los comentarios, el apoyo y por estar aquí en este canal. Quería decir muchas gracias.